Hi, welcome back to Santucci and Stevens Real Estate Video Blog Series. I'm Gratton Stevens, and this is Associate Broker Ray Santucci. Today, we'd like to discuss 10 questions to ask when hiring a realtor. Homeowners should interview a few potential realtors before deciding to sell their home. And here are a few smart questions to ask.
Like, how long they've been in business. If you're hiring a realtor, a newly licensed realtor, could do a good job and will have some training. But if you hire those that have been in business longer, will have more practical experience to bring to the table. Especially the realtors that have been in business and went ahead and got their other credentials like an ABR, accredited buyer's representation credential, or a broker's license like myself. So hiring a broker's licensed person, realtor, or with credentials will also mean that they'll have to do more ongoing training when they do their license renewal, which comes up, every 2 years license renewal. So this is good for you to know.
Yep. And it's important to ask them, how will your marketing plan meet my needs? Specifically, how do you market online? Can you show me a sample of a flyer? Where and how often do you advertise? It goes down to, how will you sell my home?
Yeah. Every property is unique, and the same basic marketing plan does not always work for certain types of homes and locations, certain types of properties. So a good marketing plan needs to be tailored to the home and to the location that you're marketing in.
Yeah, and then always, and I know this can be almost embarrassing to ask, but ask the realtor for references.
Sure, absolutely. A good realtor is going to always never be afraid to give clients references. A good starting place, though, is to go to the realtor's website and look at any testimonials that might be posted on their site.
Yeah, when you're doing all this thing, what you're looking for is what separates this realtor from their competition. So don't be afraid to ask them up front, what's going to separate you from your competitor?
And you want to listen when they're talking about key phrases like, are you available by email, or are you available by phone? Are you assertive, reliable, professional, and good negotiations? It's important to ask the realtor that you're hiring, when you call them, if they're going to be available directly, or are they going to hand you off to an assistant? After all, you are hiring the realtor, not their assistant.
That's right. And one of the main things when first meeting the realtor is they'll review documents for signing. Go over what gives you what they're going to give you before you're required to sign. Ask questions about the listing agreement, the agency disclosure, the seller disclosure. These things are all important.
Yeah, here again, the realtor should always be willing to go over the types of documents that you may need on any given situation. There's a group of standard documents that are always going to come up, but there's also others because real estate is a complicated business, and there's always some document for something. But the realtor should be able to go over that with you ahead of time, so you kind of get a little baseline of what to expect when that time comes in the negotiation period.
Yeah. And this is can be a somewhat complicated process, so you're going to have other professionals you need along the way. Can your realtor help you find the right professionals?
Here again, a good seasoned realtor is going to have a list of trade vendors that might be needed in a transaction. Carpenter, plumber, electrician, what have you. And it could be also the closing people, title people, that sort of thing. One thing that you want to also ask is if they're affiliated, if there's an affiliation in their disclosure, which this could mean the realtor is going to be compensated from the vendors that they recommend. So they're going to get a fee for recommending these people. I personally don't do that, but there's a lot of larger companies that will have affiliations, and that also could mean in their title closing agencies. They could own their own closing agency. They could own their own title companies, and they're getting extra fees along the way that they're getting paid for. That all needs to be disclosed to the seller at time of the listing.
Yeah, I mean, Ray doesn't brag on this, but he's a Class A contractor, and when you're looking for other professionals, especially if you have asked the questions up front, you know what you're doing, maybe your home needs extra work, finding out that he's a Class A contractor may help you in renovating a bathroom or a kitchen that's in disrepair. So it's always important to know what is going on with your property and what your end goal is. So, and once you've done all these things, then it's important, ask your realtor, what are the terms? How much do they charge? The realtor should be able to explain what their fee is and how they'll split their commissions with other cooperating agents and how long a listing period they will require to market your property.
Well, that's true. Everything is negotiable, but you want to know if whatever you're paying in commission, how they splitting that commission. Some agencies will keep a portion of that commission for marketing and then split the rest of it. But you need to know this up front. That's the main thing. And being that it is negotiable, you could always try to negotiate. But keep this in mind. A realtor that is willing to change their standards to obtain your listing, then you have to say, well, what are they going to do when it's time to negotiate my contract for the buyer and the seller? Are they willing? Are they just going to say, well, yeah, you should take this, it's a great deal, and not really work on your best behalf? So you want someone who's going to fight for you and have a standard that they're going to maintain and work for you.
Yeah, all these questions help you get to the point of what are your expectations for the realtor. You're learning what they do and how they do by the way they're answering your questions, and you need to find out and discover and talking to them and express to them what your expectations are of that realtor, right?
Yes. So you always want to talk to them about the expectations. So that's meaning, okay, what is an expectation? Well, how they're going to help you negotiate the documents, negotiate the contract, work through all this trade vendors on the home inspections, maybe some title work that needs to be done, help the attorney if he has to run down to the courthouse and pick up a document, or even deliver a file. Most of the attorneys have delivery people and they're pretty much running smooth, but there's times when things, people get, just behind, and if the realtor is willing to do that extra effort, it could expedite the whole process.
Yeah, and you should be comfortable enough to ask when you're at the end of this process. Ask the realtor, what else have I not asked you that I need to know? A seasoned realtor will have answers for that.
Yeah, so a good realtor, when you're doing the listing, or even on the buyer side, but when we're right now kind of talking about more on the seller side, but when you're doing the listing, he's going to listen to what you have to say, and a good realtor is going to point out things that you might have overlooked, whether it be something with the house or how you think the paperwork is done. I know a lot of clients come from out of state, and let's say you take a state like New York. The realtor doesn't, here in Virginia, the realtor writes the contract and submits it. But these are pre-printed forms that have been approved by attorney affiliations. So the form is kind of fill in, and then we could alter some. But like in a state like New York, the attorney actually writes up the contract. Now that's also true here in Virginia. Let's say if we're working with a commercial property, I very seldom would write a commercial contract for a purchase of a property because it's much more involved. You might have environmental studies and other things involved. So you always want the attorney to do that. The other thing is, us as realtors, we are not giving out legal advice, but we can follow a pre-printed form and fill in. But those are the type of things you want to discuss with your realtor, and how they're going to be looking out for you, and maybe fill you in with some things that you might have not even considered.
Yep. We hope that you found these questions to be informative and helpful, and will help you in hiring your next realtor. If you have any questions, please don't be afraid to comment below, email us, call us, anything we can do to help you.
Yeah, and please subscribe to our video, and remember, experience does matter.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for watching our video. For most people, their home is one of the most important investments they will ever make. So you want to get the most information you can, whether you are buying or selling. please visit us at our website.
And remember, experience does matter.